Hey guys, welcome back to the Grant Mint Podcast, episode number 121. And in this episode, we're going to be breaking down the power of your words and how to utilize them to build the life that you desire. Words carry seeds, and they affect every single thing that happens to you throughout your life, including the people that you are around, the circumstances you experience, and the success or the failure that you experience. We think in general about 70,000 thoughts per day. And depending on the person, we talk and say tens of thousands of words per day. Now, what you say is going to dictate your life because each one of these words puts out a specific frequency that attracts, almost like you're casting a spell onto your life and the people's lives around you. I think all of us can sit back and think about maybe something hurtful that a teacher, a past relationship, a family member, or someone close to you said that even till this moment right now, you still remember. Maybe it motivated you to do better. Maybe it hurt you. Maybe it made you question why you were friends or living or why they would speak to you in that manner. But we also might be able to remember something positive that someone said to us just randomly. Maybe it was a compliment the way you looked, maybe the way that you spoke during a class or at an event, or how well you carried yourself at work or in a meeting or an appointment. Those positive affirmations also cast favor into your life and changes the way that you think. My message to you is that we can't always control the way that the world responds to us. For any of you guys that have social media, and if you make any type of content, I know I've gotten some crazy messages the past 2 weeks. And I've grown so much as a person that my happiness, my self-esteem, my confidence has not changed the slightest. But it's because I know and have built up my self-esteem to such a size that those don't move me. Those words and those negative things that those people are saying have nothing to do with me. It has to do with those people. I take it more as feedback. While we can't necessarily control what those people say and think about us, we can control the way we think about ourselves. And the first question that typically arises when I say something like this is, well, Grant, that's easy if you're successful and you already built up that confidence and self-esteem. But how do you change that narrative and how do you change that conversation that you're having with yourself and the people around you if you're just starting off now and you haven't built that self-esteem yet? The way that you do this is through action and discipline. When you start speaking and changing the words that you say to yourself and to other people, it's not going to feel great in that moment. When you start saying, I'm successful, this is going to be the best year ever. This is going to be an incredible day. This is going to be an incredible year. Everything is going to fall into order. We're going to land the biggest client ever. We're going to break our sales records. Sometimes when you say that for the first time, it kind of feels like you're a crazy person. Or maybe you are a little bit. I think I am a little bit. But even though it doesn't feel comfortable, what happens is you're slowly hypnotizing and changing your core subconscious beliefs. And if you listen to people careful enough, they will tell you their own limitations and limiting beliefs that they have. They'll say, oh, but it probably will take 10 years to start making $1 million. Well, it would probably take 2 years to get that promotion because that's the status quo in your industry. They will tell you what they don't believe. And my message to you is protect yourself and protect your mind. I was on a consulting call earlier this morning, someone that's in Hong Kong, and he's awesome. And he's had so much success. We've more than doubled his business in the last 6 months. And I noticed it was like the third or fourth time he keeps saying, I just get so stressed, Grant. I just get so stressed. And finally I said, hey, don't ever say that in front of me again. And don't ever tell yourself that again. Because all you're doing is expanding it. And I said, think about where were you like 6 to 8 months ago? Like, what have you learned since us working together? As well, I've improved my systems. I've improved delegation. I know my numbers now. Everything has improved. The company has grown. And I'm like, exactly, right? And are you happy where you are right now, or do you want to go further? And he goes, no, this isn't my forever business. I want to build something even bigger and get to a whole nother level in life. And I said, okay, well, why are you mad? Or why are you fighting against quote unquote stressful situations? You asked to grow as a person and reach a new level, but you're complaining about the problems that are sent to help you grow into that person. Don't ever speak that you are stressed again. Just ask for certainty and confidence to grow through that and embrace it, because that's what you should get excited about. When you feel uncomfortable, when you don't know what to do next, that is a sign that you are growing, or that's what discomfort feels like. And that was sent to help you evolve into that person. You have to watch your words carefully. I was on a podcast, and she's a podcaster from Australia, has about 2 million listeners a year. And this was about a week and a half ago. So I'm sure I'll post it. I don't think it's came out yet. And I was talking to her, and she asked me a very interesting question. She's like, you've had all these great guests on and you've met all these people. Is there anything that you've noticed that you've learned from them on what made them successful that's helped you? And I kind of sat for a second. I said, I can't think of a specific thing that they told me, but I learned more from just their energy and the way that they communicated more than what made them quote unquote successful. And what I learned is that they speak in affirmation, positive affirmation, and they have absolute certainty about themselves, their business, and what they were trying to change in this world, whether they're right or they're wrong. And if you sit back and you think about all the successful people in the world, whether you agree with them or you don't agree with them, whether this is in business, content creation, a mom, a dad, a politician, a leader of some sort, someone that is helping the world in some capacity, they have absolute certainty with what they're doing. And where that comes from is if you lack certainty, the world will convince you to not stick to your plan and do things in its order and what it wants to do with you. That's why when you have absolute certainty, the world will literally bend to your will. Because if we learn this, people just simply follow the status quo. A good example of this, have you ever been at the grocery store and there's this huge line and everyone just starts getting in line, get in line, get in line. But then you look around the corner and there's a line of like 2 to 3 people. And you're like, oh, this must be like one of the lines that only allow like 10 or 15 products. And you're like, wait, that's a normal one. Or you're at a red light and there's this massive line of 15 cars and you just get in the right lane and you go up and there's only 2 cars there and you take a left just like them. Nothing changed, but you just saved probably 2 to 3 lights. Why did that happen? You stopped following the status quo. If everyone listening here, no matter how successful, I have people that make 9 figures and even a few billionaires that listen to this podcast. And so even them, they want to grow and evolve. So all of us listening want to change, no matter what level you're at. You're going to need to seek discomfort. You're going to have to run towards change. And you're going to have to watch the words that you say. I have a rule. Never speak negativity, ever. It's hard to control what other people do, but don't ever speak a negative word again. And if you do, replace it with 3 positive words. It sounds gimmicky, but it changes your confidence, your frequency, your charisma, the confidence and certainty that you have when you enter a meeting, an appointment, when you're giving a speech. I was talking to somebody and they said, Grant, and I'm not the biggest speaker in the world, but I just started giving speeches over the last 3 years, and they're slowly getting bigger and in front of more important people. And I'm taking you guys on the journey, right? So I'm giving you lessons as I learn them as well. And someone was asking me, do you get nervous? Do you have teleprompters? What do you do? And I said, well, when I first started making podcasts, I didn't know how to edit, and I still don't. And so I bought podcast equipment and I would record in my condo in Houston. And since I didn't know how to edit and I wasn't uploading videos at the time, I had to talk perfectly for 15 to 20 minutes. And if I made a mistake, I had to start the podcast over again. And that practice helped me become a better speaker. Then I have this affirmation that I say before, even the day before, the hour before, and right before I go on. If I'm speaking at a college, I just spoke at South by Southwest, if I'm speaking at an event, whatever the case may be, I just say, I bat 1,000. I will never mess up. I cannot afford to mess up. I am always going to operate perfect. And I say it over and over again. I bat 1,000. I bat 1,000. In baseball, batting 1,000 means you get on base every single time. And so I just tell myself that because I have decided that failure is not an option. I'm not going to be standing on a stage in front of 20 people, 5 people, or 10,000 and mess up. I won't do it. It will never happen. I'm choosing to never let it happen. I will be prepared and I will do the right things. That is a belief that I decided to create. We all create these beliefs all the time. Like, oh, people from this neighborhood, we never end up becoming successful unless it's from this. Or, people from this country never make it big. That's only people that are in Silicon Valley. Or you have to come from a wealthy family to be successful, which is far from the truth. 86% of millionaires are self-made in America. Be careful the spells that you cast on yourself. Second is, do not allow negativity to be spoken around you ever. There's times, yes, to pick your battles, but if I'm around family, friends, I will call them out, and I'll do it in a respectful manner, but I'll say, hey, I know this is the third or fourth time you've said it, that you're stressed about this, and I completely understand why, but bro, get your mind right. You're better than this. I've seen you close more deals in a day than anyone I know. You're smoother. You will figure out this situation, and if it doesn't work, you'll find something better. And then I'll give them a podcast, or I'll give them a book recommendation, and I'll just say, look, dude, think about where you're going to be in 2 years. And just that spark will change everything. If I'm around a big group and they kind of are negative, I'll just change the subject, and I'll go, well, hey, what's the 3 best things that happened to y'all today? And it'll kind of take everyone back, and then they'll go, well, this, and then all of a sudden, the rest of the night, the entire energy of the group is changed. All I did is ask one question. And it sounds gimmicky, but it changes what you focus on. And when you focus on growth, you're going to find opportunities that are around you at all times. When you're only focused on why it's unfair, why other people have it better than you, why it's this economy, or why it's this, or why it's the president, or why it's the family member, or whatever your excuse is, you will find ways to justify that because of your brain's ego. Third, you need to walk, talk, and act like the person you're becoming today. Not tomorrow, not when you make enough money, not when everything works out, not when the economy improves, but today. There is abundance flying all around you. And a good exercise, and why I tell people that you need to get out of your neighborhood, you need to travel. I don't care if you got to take the metro or the bus. I was just in LA this past weekend, and I was with a few friends, and we had breakfast at the Beverly Hills Hotel. And I used to tell them that we used to come here. We take the bus or the metro all the way up from Long Beach all the way to LA, and we'd act like we were staying there. And now I've stayed at that hotel multiple times. And I was telling them, I was like, man, it's such a good feeling to think back 10 years ago about how stressed and broke I was, and figured out all of these things, and have helped all these great people and learned so many difficult lessons. I mean, I lived with 6 to 7 roommates eventually at one time. It was anywhere between 4 to 7. And we went through hell and back, but it was those experiences that helped me grow and develop my character. And so when you're facing problems, you have to be the person that goes, why is this good for me? In 10 years, why is this experience going to make me a better person? How can I use this situation to shape me and build you into the person that you are supposed to become? This starts with the power of your words. All of us, including myself, needs to be checked from time to time. It is so easy. It is addictive to gossip. It is addictive to complain. But you know what is also addictive? Success. And that starts with your words, your affirmation, your thoughts, and ultimately the actions that you take. So I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. As always, make sure to check out all my social media channels at Grant Mitt. Also, guys, I just posted my first vlog where you get a behind the scenes look at my life, what it's like working, podcasts, not too much meetings or anything like that, but just me hanging out with my friends, going to events. I think you guys will enjoy it. I'll post a link below. You can check out my YouTube channel. Other than that, as always, I'm rooting for you guys, and I will talk to you soon for episode 122. Thank you guys. Cheers.